In 1991, a tiny tragedy arrived at Howlett's Wild Animal Park in England. An orphan gorilla infant, barely clinging to life, weighing less than 5 pounds. His name was Damian, and he was dying. That's when Tansy Aspinall made a decision that would change both their lives forever. She would become this gorilla's mother. Every 2 hours, day and night, Tansy bottle-fed Damian with specialized formula. She held him against her chest as he slept, providing the warmth his mother never could. For months, they were inseparable. Tansy taught him to play, to explore, to trust. She spoke to him constantly, her voice becoming the soundtrack to his survival. What formed between them wasn't just care, it was love, a bond so powerful it defied every rule of nature. But this was only the beginning of their extraordinary story. If you're finding value in this, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Building on what we covered, Damian wasn't just rescued. He was about to live the most extraordinary childhood any gorilla has ever experienced. Inside the Aspinall family home, Damian learned to eat with utensils, to sit at the dinner table, to sleep in a proper bed. He watched television with fascination, his dark eyes following every movement on the screen with an intelligence that stunned everyone. Damian learned to open doors by turning handles, something that should have been impossible for his massive hands. When guests arrived, he would greet them at the door like any family member, gentle, curious, almost human in his mannerisms. But it was his emotional intelligence that truly shocked everyone. Damian could sense when someone was sad or upset. He would approach quietly, place his enormous hand on their shoulder, offering comfort in a way that seemed impossibly human. Damian understood basic commands. He responded to his name. He even learned simple gestures that mimicked human communication. During playtime, he was remarkably gentle. Despite his growing strength, he never once hurt a family member. He learned to use the toilet, to wash his hands, behaviors that defied everything science knew about gorilla intelligence. But raising a wild animal as family came with challenges nobody could have predicted. As Damian grew larger, but paradise has an expiration date. By age 12, Damian had transformed into something magnificent and terrifying. 400 pounds of pure muscle, 6 feet of raw power. The gentle baby who once slept in Francine's arms could now crush her with a single embrace. Sexual maturity brought something darker, unpredictable aggression. Wildlife experts delivered the devastating truth. Damian was no longer safe to keep. The woman who had given everything faced an impossible choice. Keep him captive and watch him slowly lose his mind, or break her own heart to save his soul. Francine made the ultimate sacrifice. Damian would return to the wild. But first, he needed to learn what 12 years of human life had stolen from him. How to forage, how to build nests, how to be a gorilla. The preparation was heartbreaking. Every lesson brought them closer to goodbye. In 6 months, Damian would board a plane to Gabon's dense rainforest, a world away from everything he had ever known. The plane descended into Gabon's endless green wilderness. Damian's journey back to the wild had begun. As his transport cage was opened, Damian stepped onto African soil for the first time since infancy. The forest swallowed him whole, and then silence. 12 long years of wondering and waiting began. Tansy returned to England with a heart full of questions. Was he alive? Was he thriving? Months turned to years. No news. No sightings. The jungle had claimed her boy completely. Scientists began filling her head with doubts. Animal memory fades, they said. Bonds break. Studies showed that gorillas, removed from human contact, gradually lose their learned behaviors. Memory degradation, they called it. The civilized gorilla would become purely wild again. Year 5 passed. Then, year 8. Tansy's certainty began to crumble like old photographs. Had she been naive to think their bond was unbreakable? Had the jungle erased her from his mind? The experts were clear. After a decade in the wild, Damian would be a stranger to her. 12 years of silence. 12 years of scientific doubt. But love doesn't follow scientific rules. The call finally came. Damian had been spotted. And Tansy would say 12 years later, Tansy Richardson stood at the edge of an impossible decision. The flight to Gabon would either reunite her with the gorilla she raised as her own son, or shatter her heart forever. Her hands trembled as she packed familiar items. A worn blanket, an old photograph, remnants of their shared past. Questions tormented her mind during the endless flight. Would he remember her voice, her touch, her love? The Gabonese jungle had transformed Damian from her baby into something wild, something powerful, something potentially dangerous. Local guides warned her repeatedly. Wild gorillas don't recognize former human families. They see only threats. For 3 grueling days, they tracked through suffocating heat and razor-sharp undergrowth. Every broken branch, every distant sound, every shadow could signal they were being watched. Then, on day 4, they found fresh gorilla tracks. Massive, recent, leading deeper into his territory. Tansy's heart hammered against her chest. After 12 years of separation, Damian was close. The guides motioned for absolute silence. One wrong move could trigger a 300-pound gorilla's defensive instincts. Through the dense leaves ahead, a massive shadow moved. Deliberately, powerfully. Tansy stepped forward alone, her voice barely a whisper. The moment that would define everything. As we discussed, 12 years of silence stretched between them. But now, in this moment, everything would change. Damian emerges from the foliage. His massive frame moves through the underbrush. Then he sees her. Time stops. 12 years collapse into nothing. His eyes lock onto Tansy's face. What happens next defies everything we thought we knew about animal memory. Damian stops moving. He tilts his head. The same gesture he made as a baby when Tansy would speak to him. Then, something extraordinary happens. He begins to approach. Not with dominance, not with aggression, with the same careful movements he used as a child when he didn't want to hurt her. Tansy speaks his name. Damian. His response shatters every scientific assumption about animal consciousness. He makes the sound, the exact vocalization he used to greet her 12 years ago. Then he does something that proves love transcends species. He extends his massive hand. The same way he used to reach for her when he was small and needed comfort. Tansy places her hand in his. 12 years vanish. Mother and son reunited. This moment rewrites our understanding of animal consciousness, of memory, of love itself. Damian remembered everything, every touch, every word, every moment of love. If this opened your eyes to the incredible depth of animal consciousness, smash that like button and subscribe.